Welcome to Kathy's Eclectic Garden. I'm Kathy and I garden in Zone 5B 6A in Northwest Ohio. Today I want to take you on a little mid-November tour of my garden, and we'll see what's still standing and what I'm going to be taking out and what I'm going to be leaving up until spring. But first, I want to show you my Black Haw Viburnum. This is just turning its fall colors, and I have another one about 30 feet from it that has completely lost its leaves. It changed about a month ago. So that's how different plants can grow even in the same area. Now let's get on with our tour. We'll be right back. The hydrangeas are done. They are all dried up. But we leave these because if we get snow, they look really pretty covered in snow. So this is one of my biggest winter interest plants. So we just leave these be. This fragrant sumac was really pretty this fall. It's just about all dying back now, but it added some nice color to the fall garden. And here on the west end of the Garden of Whedon is what's left of the purple fountain grass, and we leave this up because it's a nice wind block for this area. This is the north border and the winds come from the west. We get some pretty strong winds. Tricolor sage is still looking good, and Pearly Everlasting, even though it's dying back, it's looking kind of pretty too, in my opinion. And then we've got the purple hyacinth bean. And we'll leave that to be kind of a wind block with the purple fountain grass. The remainder of the Garden of Whedon I'll leave standing. I will be pulling this tomato plant out though. That was just kind of stuck in here as an afterthought. I had an empty spot, an extra plant, so I put a tomato out here and it did pretty good. The daisies, the Shasta daisies, will stay here until spring. They'll die back, but for right now they're good cover for the birds and foliage for the habitat for the insects. The coneflowers are done, but still have seed heads for the birds. I never do anything with my heuchera. I just leave it here and it just keeps coming back every year. And my lavender's looking good. I've got a big bunch back there and some more here. And everything else here is just all died out. And I will be getting some of these weeds out yet before the snow flies and get some leaf mulch put down over this. Of course, the 9-bark is looking beautiful. Now as we come into the backyard, you can see the clematis is done, but I love these seed heads. They are just gorgeous. So that will be coming down in the spring. I will be cleaning out these 2 flower pots. This is where the Vista bubblegum by Proven Winners goes in these pots every year. This is the new garden. We've shown this one a couple of different times. The tick seeds are kind of dying out. I'll probably leave those and take them down in the spring. And the geraniums are growing nicely. The pineapple sage is done. We're going to leave that and see if it comes back next year. It may or may not. This goldenrod here never bloomed, but it had some nice foliage on it. It's a stiff goldenrod like this one here, and this one bloomed enough for both of them. This little sucker still got flowers on it. Look at that. It's mid-November and this thing is still blooming. And of course I've showed you my dead nettle. and how good it's doing. It does have a few little flowers on it. There's a couple right there. So that's looking good. And of course the New England asters, they're done. Everything is done in the messy garden. I have not cut the Joe Pye weeds yet. I will probably be doing that here pretty soon because all the seeds are about gone. And it does have hollow stems, so I will be cutting that back for hollow stems for the birds, or for the bees, I mean. The tall ironweed is done, but the lavender is not done. It is still looking good. And Penstemon Beard's Tongue Red Rocks is still green, so that's nice. But everything else is pretty well finished in this garden. Now working our way down into the shade garden, the button bush has lost all of its leaves and they are all laying on the ground, making a nice habitat for the insects for the winter. And we've got sneezeweed that moved over here on its own. I'll probably be taking some of these out in the spring because I don't really want them here. I'll move them somewhere else. The foxgloves are looking nice and healthy, so hopefully next year I'll have blooms on those. We'll be looking forward to that. The other shade-loving plants, the coral bells, the heucheras, the wild violets, they've all died back, and by next spring there'll be nothing left of those, but the new ones will come up and take their place. So the tiarella back there, they're looking pretty good still. They look kind of dead, but that's kind of the color they are. So this is where we planted the new black lace elderberry, and it has died back for the winter. The lantana that was planted next to it has done its thing, and it can be removed, but I'll wait and do that in the spring. I did plant some spring bulbs along here, so we'll have some crocus here next year, hopefully. And I can't believe how good this rosemary's doing in this tub back here. We've had some really hard freezes the past few weeks, and it's just looking good. This is the North Bumblebee Retreat, and I have got this all cleaned out and leaves spread for the winter. We've got a Beard's Tongue Red Rocks here that I transplanted out of a pot. That's looking good. Of course, the New England asters have died back. We have a fox sedge here that is ready for fall. And then this is a Baptisia. This is the false blue indigo. And I have left this up for cover for the birds. And that will die back this winter. There is also some purple coneflower back there still standing. And some more Penstemon digitalis here. That's died back. I will leave that standing because there's still some seed heads on that. And there was a little prairie coneflower there that has died back. And the Ohio spiderwort is done, as is the Culver's root. And I was going to leave this standing, but I think I'll probably get out here. Well, I don't know. It looks like there's some hollow stems here, so I might just cut those back and leave the stem sticking up for the bees. The pocket prairie garden is done. I just leave this stand. By spring it'll all be falling over and dying and putting nutrients back into the ground. And I don't remember if I cut back my blue flax last year, but it's still green, so I'm leaving it go. If it dies over the winter, that'll be fine. It'll come back. I can already see some green coming back in the bottom of that one right there. Get that to focus. There in the bottom. So I'm pretty sure that one's going to make it. The meadowsweet has changed colors and it started to turn yellow, but it does have new growth at the bottom. So last year this new growth came up and I thought it was a weed and I cut a lot of it out, so that wasn't very smart, but I know what it is now, so I won't be doing that again. So this bush should be filling out some from the base next year. And this is the area I call the hummingbird haven. We had a lot of open area here, so I have planted quite a few crocus bulbs in this area. We just put this new weather station in. I had a baptisia back here, but I cut it back because the branches were starting to kind of die off and fall over. So I did cut that one back, and there's some dianthus beside it. And over on the other side there are some phlox. I will leave that standing for winter interest in bird cover and insect habitat, as well as the speedwell there. I did cut the blazing star back, but it has hollow stems, so I did leave some of that up. I've also got crocus all back in this area here. My agastache I have left standing. It still has some seeds on it, and I've seen a few birds coming to it. So I will leave that up and take it down in the spring. More foxglove here. And I didn't realize the blue lupins stayed green this long, but they're looking really pretty. And of course the purple coneflowers are done. Haven't decided. I may come in and cut these out. They're looking a little ragged, but there's still some seed heads on here, and you can see where the birds have been eating on them, so maybe I better leave those around a little while longer and give the birds some more food. And of course my Johnny jump ups are still blooming. They'll bloom all winter off and on. They like this cooler weather. So they're looking nice. They're nice to have a little color in the garden in the winter. The sedums are done. I do leave those for winter interest because they look nice with the snow on them. Also the yarrow makes for nice winter interest. I have another beard's tongue red rocks here. These are really looking nice. I'm really glad my friend on YouTube sent me these seeds because I've really been enjoying them. And this is a weedula that I'm trying to train into a tree, but I'm not sure I'm having much luck. But it's done. More purple coneflowers, and back behind them are heath asters. And boy, these things just can take over a garden. So I'm going to be pulling those out. I should have pulled them out a long time ago because now they've gone to seed. So I'm going to get them again next year. And that's about it for my mid-November garden. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour. Until next time, enjoy your gardens. Goodbye.